Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sam here. Um, it's been a while. I'm not going to apologize for that. I've been busy. Um, Among other things, I've written another couple of books since I last was here, and so I'm going to start by talking about what I've written recently, and encouraging you all to go out and buy them. Um, Not just because I'm vain, but because I think they're actually quite useful books. Um, First thing is that I have revised my book on growing Wiccan temples and leaders. I originally wrote and published this in 2012, and 12 years later, I've done a lot more reading. I've done a lot more work with establishing temples, training clergy people, doing religious education, and all that kind of thing. And it just made sense for me to substantially revise and update this book. It's available on Amazon, as are all of my books, published by uh, Wiccan, Edmonton Wiccan Seminary and Obscure Pagan Press, which has been my publishing house for a number of years now. Um, has all kinds of useful information. Let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the contents. Um, it talks about nuts and bolts principally. I'm not that interested in determining what other people's theology ought to be like, but I have learned over a number of years of establishing groups, temples, um, running workshops, teaching, initiating, and setting up religious retreats and a variety of other things. I've been an active guy. Um, so all sorts of nuts and bolts and stuff that comes from my own direct experience makes up the bulk of the book. Um, Also has some bad examples, some things that I was involved with that were flops, or that we really hadn't thought about exactly what we were doing, and so we weren't able to do it as effectively as I would have liked. And some theoretical stuff, sociology of religion, um, some religious education programs and outline, some stuff on developing a liturgy and performing ritual, um, some issues that emerged around discipline of clergy members, a difficult but unfortunately often necessary thing to consider is, what are you going to do if one of your clergy people starts trying to seduce the young and cute members of your temple, or engage in financial malfeasance, or any number of other things that we hope will never happen, but that occasionally do. So, this is a good book for anybody who's interested in starting and growing a public facing temple based in Wicca. It would work undoubtedly for other uh, spiritual approaches as well. A lot of the research I did for the book was in Christian temple planting literature. So, yeah, this one's worth picking up, even if you have the earlier edition. This one, this is the second book that I've published. Just published it at the beginning of April of 2024. Um, it's called Northern Mages: Some Preliminary Sketches Toward a History of the Occult and Metaphysical in Canada, mostly in Canada. Um, it's what can I say? I've been working on it for on and off for 25 years. I started pecking away at it, wrote for some stuff when I was an undergraduate doing my BA. Continued to in 1999, continued to peck away at it through my master's, and then did other work over the course of many years. I finally decided to pull together all of the various things that I'd written and come out with a book. So far as I'm aware, this is the only general book about the Canadian occult and metaphysical movements. There are some books that deal with specific places and times and organizations in greater or lesser depth, many of which I cite in the bibliography, of course. But this is the first general one that talks about the broad range of particularly the Victorian occult and metaphysical communities in Canada, the intersection between those communities and the socialist and feminist movements that were growing at the same time, the spiritualist movement, which was a mass movement in the 19th century, started in Canada, very rapidly spread around the English-speaking world and involved millions of people. And it just goes from basically, I mean, I also survey the United States, some things that happened in the United States and the United Kingdom, the feminist and theosophical and occult movements in the UK, spiritualist and also early occult ideas in the United States, like alchemy, the spiritualist movement there, and so forth. This goes up to about the 1920s. One thing that's not well known about Canada is the extent to which occult and metaphysical ideas were important in our culture at large. For example, 4 of the 7 members of the group of 7 were occultists, were members of the Theosophical Society. Our Prime Minister, Mackenzie King, was a spiritualist. A very large number of prominent figures in the arts and culture in the socialist movement were also influenced by theosophy and other occult movements, principally theosophy, or at least that's where I've been able to find the most documents. This is a very good, I think, a very good start. It certainly isn't the definitive work. It's the first work in Canada's occult and metaphysical history. I recommend it. I would recommend it even if it wasn't my own book, as a place to start. And of course, as an excellent bibliography for follow-up research. And hopefully it will provoke some other historically inclined people to go out there and do better and write more history of Canada's occult. It says nothing at all about the 1950s, 60s, 70s, the growth of Wicca, the establishment of a more substantial presence of the New Age movement across the country, and so on. All things that will have to be done in follow-up work. So anyhow, quick little blurb. Go out, buy my books. I'll try to come back and do something else soon here. I'm busy trying to get my temple from being exclusively online to having to meeting in person again. It's a slow process. There's not a lot of people involved, but we hope to have it done sometime this summer, certainly. So anyways, you take care, and bye-bye now.